What is up, XRP community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk about the new Ripple stablecoin and some information from the blockchain on specifically what Ripple is doing with that stablecoin and how it ties into the quadrillion derivatives market. The BRICS nations, their first transaction involving oil on the XRP ledger, and the FBI received a Freedom of Information Act request about who Satoshi Nakamoto is, and they said some pretty revealing information on the anonymous founder of Bitcoin. So let's jump right into it. You'll see Bitcoin sitting at a very similar level it was at in my last video, 59K, very important range for Bitcoin. And inflation data came out. Speaking of the macroeconomic conditions, money supply, the M2 money supply, which is a measure of the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and other deposits readily convertible to cash, is now expanding. And you can see here, this is a 5-year time frame from 1960 to 2025. The money supply, lowest it's been in percent change for 5 decades. We're now starting to see that increase. Whenever you see the money supply increase, typically is good for an expanding economy because that money has to go somewhere and it's going to go into assets. The US inflation estimates came out lower than expectations, but keep in mind, these numbers, whether it's employment data, polling data, inflation data, you need to take it with a grain of salt. It can be very easily manipulated. In COVID-19, the thing I can't say on YouTube, they actually in 2020 redefined what a recession was. A recession previously was like 2 quarters of consecutive negative GDP growth, and they made it like 3 or 4 quarters, the new definition for a recession of negative GDP growth. So they're literally changing the definition of how they call something a recession. And then people ask, are we in a recession right now? I think we've been in one for a long time. Kamala Harris, running for president of the United States, proposes a 28% crypto tax rate. A lot of people are saying because of the 2 advisors Kamala has picked for her economic policy, that she's going to be very destructive towards crypto, kind of carrying on the Gary Gensler ethos towards crypto, not welcoming innovation, but basically regulating by enforcement, going after these companies. This is not something I like to see. Congratulations to all Americans. You've done it. You've set a new record. The U.S. national debt is $35 trillion. The interest payments on the U.S. national debt outpace the military spending. Isn't that pretty crazy? The interest payments, not the debt, the interest payments on this debt outpace the military budget for the US, and we have by far the world's largest military budget. If you guys enjoy my content, smash that like button. It's free. It gives me positive feedback to let me know that you're enjoying the content. I'm not wasting your time, so thank you in advance for that. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a very, I guess I'd call this a self-help book written by author Robert Kiyosaki. When it comes to books about finance, I'd say this is a pretty well-respected book. He's predicting the world's worst market crash. A quick note on Bitcoin, the miner reserve. So how much Bitcoin miners are they actually keeping of their Bitcoin profits? They're now at a record low January 2021 levels. The miner sell-off looks complete. So you can see right here, guys, when the miner sell-off stopped last January 2021, if you look at the Bitcoin price chart, it's circled in this teal circle right here for you at same time period. So when miners stop selling their Bitcoin, the only way that Bitcoin comes into the ecosystem is from miners. So they're the primary sellers, and they have to pay their power bills, their fixed costs, their overheads. When they stop selling, that's a lot of sell pressure, and you see Bitcoin does some good things. Bitcoin's had a great rally in the recent months, this year, 2024, and the miners have been selling the whole time. So whether it's a bull, whether it's a bear, I'm not going to speculate on that because, to be honest, I don't know. But when miners stop selling off, I'd say that's pretty bullish for the ecosystem. Moving forward, India's made a bold move by completing an oil transaction with the United Arab Emirates on the XRP ledger. Earlier this week, talked about this was last week, Ripple announced a major partnership with the United Arab Emirates, a big crypto center of the world. The company issued a press release unveiling a partnership with the Dubai International Financial Center. And they say India has completed its first crude oil transaction with the UAE using local currencies, bypassing the US dollar. The transaction is integrated with the XRP Ledger System Crypto Trading Fund, CTF. This enables customers to earn CTF tokens as cashback when using the system. And another thing about XRP and how it can be used, I really like this diagram right here in this tweet from Smoked. He says, to truly conceptualize how many currency pairs that XRP will serve as a bridge currency for, observe the diagram below. The diagram demonstrates XRP's value as an investment by illustrating its role in enhancing network efficiency, reducing counterparty risk, and ensuring liquidity. As the network evolves from a simpler, less connected system on the left to a highly interconnected one on the right, XRP's ability to solve problems as a bridge currency becomes increasingly effective. This not only simplifies the management of multiple currency pairs, but also mitigates counterparty risks, making it an attractive tool for financial institutions. Additionally, XRP's role in maintaining liquidity across the network supports its growing demand, offering a scalable and potentially exponential growth opportunity for investors. He links this diagram here. It says, on a protocol level, Ripple makes a distinction between both the balance type, USD, Euro, Australian dollar, and the issuing counterparty. This is important because USD balances issued by two different banks are technically liabilities of different institutions. This is why banks have to use these Nostro and Vostro accounts when doing international cross-border payments. And this has a lot of different counterparty risks. As the number of assets and the number of counterparties in the network grows, the number of currency pairs can quickly become unmanageable for a market maker. So you can see on the left here, you have these market makers, you have these central authorities taking on this counterparty risk, and you have a lot of different moving parts with not a lot of pieces of connections. On the right, this is what Ripple would do. It really illustrates how many more connections would be possible, and this looks to me like a scan of a brain, a neural network. You just have limitless connections. Ripple, other than quoting every possible currency gateway combination, XRP can serve as a useful bridging tool for market makers. If every currency is liquid to XRP, it's also liquid to other currencies. So by using XRP, it truly unites every pathway. So the FBI will neither confirm or deny the existence of Satoshi Nakamoto. For years and years and years, people have speculated, who is this guy that created cryptocurrency? He has $6 billion in Bitcoin, and he's never moved one token. His last post was on Bitcoin Talk Forum in 2010. No one's heard from him since. Personally, I don't think he's an individual. Satoshi Nakamoto is a Japanese name, and bear with me while I go down this rabbit hole. But take a moment and look up what Satoshi means in Japanese. Take a moment, look up what Nakamoto means in Japanese. It translates roughly to Central Intelligence, so I'll just leave that with you. The FBI reportedly responded to a Freedom of Information Act request from a journalist. These are FOIA requests are ways that journalists can get access to documents, implying that Bitcoin creator was a third-party individual. According to an August 13th X post by investigative journalist Dave Troy, the FBI issued a GLOMAR response to his request for information on Satoshi, neither confirming nor denying the law enforcement agency had records identifying the pseudonymous Bitcoin creator. Troy said he intended to appeal the FOIA response, but claimed the FBI and made an interesting assertion, implying Satoshi was a third-party individual. The journalist says, I submitted as a broad general subject request with full context, so it is the Bureau and not me that is asserting that this is an individual. My intent is to not establish the identity behind the pseudonym, but rather to get what info the Bureau may have on the subject. If that helps establish an identity somehow, fine, but that's not my primary question. So maybe one day we will find out who this Satoshi guy is, but personally I do not believe he is an individual. And because of the macroeconomic conditions, people are seeing a potential decrease in the crypto market cap, the price of all cryptos. JP Morgan economists have raised the possibility of a U.S. economic recession to 35%. Like I said earlier, guys, and tell me if I'm wrong or you disagree, but I think we already are in one. The report, according to Bloomberg, cited weak labor market conditions and a restrictive Fed policy as key factors. On August 10th, Fed Governor Michelle Bowman stated that inflation risks persist and labor market remains weak, which reduces the likelihood of an interest rate cut in September, which everyone thought we were going to get an interest rate cut in September. Now it's looking more like December. Investors are now in a holding pattern, awaiting the release of the U.S. Producer Price Index, which was yesterday, and the Consumer Price Index, which is today. These data points are expected to provide clues on whether the Fed will meet market expectations of at least 2 interest rate cuts. So like I talked at the beginning of the video, inflation numbers from today were less than expected. So that could mean that a cut in September is more likely. An XRP futures contract has been filed under the CFTC. The futures contracts are the first steps to an XRP ETF. So now that the lawsuit is finally wrapped up, we already have a Bitcoin ETF. We already have an Ethereum ETF in the pipeline. People thought Solana would be the next ETF. I believe it will be an XRP ETF. In this exchange, binomial exchange, they sent this to the CFTC. They are making a designated contract market to hereby notify the CFTC that it hereby submits for self-certification its initial listing of the XRP US dollars futures contract, and this is just the first domino of many before we do get the XRP ETF. And keep in mind, guys, the design of the XRP, the individual token, it's subdivisible by up to 6 decimal points. Why is this important? Each XRP token is broken down into 1 million drops. Okay, that's what 1/1,000,000th of an XRP is a drop. Like in Bitcoin, if you break up Bitcoin, you have Satoshis. That's the smaller denomination of a Bitcoin. The smaller denomination of an XRP is a drop. And each XRP is divisible by 1,000,000 pieces, 6 decimal points, which would make one speculate the price of XRP is going to be potentially very high, because why else would you have something so small in price right now, 50 cents, divisible by 1,000,000 pieces? Now, by having that XRP token broken up into 1,000,000 pieces, it would be able to scale the world economy very easily. The Ripple ISDA partnership allows them to target the $1.2 quadrillion derivatives markets. All the money, shake hands. And he links this other tweet. I was talking about Ripple stablecoin and some interesting stuff from the blockchain about what they're testing. And right here, the Ripple USD stablecoin team printed 9,999,999,999,999,999,999 Ripple USD. So why are they making 9 quadrillion Ripple USDT? Not USDT, sorry, RLUSD. Maybe because they're trying to see how much this system can handle if the whole market, all the money is under the stablecoin. And something to speculate more on that. Ripple's stablecoin, very small right now. Tether is by far the largest stablecoin. And this guy makes a case of how Tether could fail and something like the Ripple stablecoin or USDC could come in its place. He says Tether's implosion is not difficult to imagine when you fully comprehend all the facts within the Tether files. The Tether files was a leak in the past few years that basically showed all this shady stuff behind the company of Tether. It honestly wouldn't take much to implode, and likely will play out like this. A credible report surfaces, casting doubt on Tether's reserves, suggesting they're tied up in risky illiquid assets rather than the claimed one-to-one backing by US dollars. Institutional investors quietly begin to convert their Tether into more stable assets, causing fluctuations in Tether's value. As rumors spread, Tether starts trading below its $1 peg. Panic sets in, and smaller investors rush to sell off their Tether, further eroding its value. Exchanges begin delaying or freezing Tether withdrawals, citing liquidity issues. The stablecoin loses its peg entirely, dropping rapidly in value as the confidence collapses. The crypto market experiences a massive disruption, and Tether's implosion becomes a stark warning of the risks inherent in unregulated financial instruments. Keep in mind, when the Luna stablecoin failed, that had massive implications for the crypto market. Tether is way orders of magnitude larger than the Luna stablecoin, so it'd be even more massive. Bitcoin then tanks, Ethereum tanks, and only regulated blockchains with compliant stablecoins like Ripple USD will be able to capture all of that lost liquidity. Don't believe me? Check out the documentation below. So in this article it says, as far as the regulators are concerned, the size of Tether's supported dollar holdings is so big that it would be dangerous even assuming the dollars are real. Tether's holdings are like 90 billion. If enough traders ask for their dollars back at once, the company could have to liquidate its assets at a loss, setting off a run at the non-bank. The losses could cascade into the regulated financial system by crashing credit markets. If the trolls are right and Tether is a Ponzi scheme, it would be larger than Bernie Madoff's. Now the thing is, no one can actually redeem Tethers for actual dollars. You have to be a big hedge fund or a market maker. I've read stories about people in the past, regular guys like you and me, maybe not regular people, but people with $10 million in Tether, and you have to go to the company, Tether Holdings, you have to do all this paperwork, and they still, at the end, will not give you dollars for your Tethers. So they really aren't redeemable, even though they say they are redeemable. Stablecoins form part of over 60% of all transactions in crypto. They fulfill a function similar to fiat money. They're used to store value without leaving the crypto system and to cash into or out of other crypto assets. They've historically been shown significant fluctuations from their peg. Tether accounts for 70% of the stablecoin market and 90% of stablecoins volumes. So imagine Tether goes down. Be terrible for crypto, but over the long term, it would be great. It'd be great for something like Ripple stablecoin. And really quickly, guys, if you use Twitter, join my Twitter community, post good information you find here, and I'll feature it in my future videos. It's in the video description below, as well as my Telegram. And if you guys do use Telegram, it's free. We just talk about crypto in there, so definitely check that out. If you made it to the end of the video, guys, thanks for giving me 16 minutes of your day. Comment in the comment section below what you think the XRP price will be a year from now. I really do appreciate everyone watching the video. And if you need a spot to get crypto or XRP, check out Uphold. It's also in the video description below. It's where I get my XRP daily. And if you want $41 for free to get some more XRP, sign up with Webull. It's a stock trading platform. Deposit 1 penny, just 1 penny. You're guaranteed 41 stocks in free value. You can get up to $300, but typically you just get around 40 bucks. Sell your stocks, close your account, do whatever you want with that 40 bucks. Link to everything in the video description below. God bless you guys. Until next time.